Plus 25cm Godzilla 55. This Godzilla is from 1955's sequel to the original Godzilla, Godzilla Raids Again. Okay? So, this is that Godzilla. Not a very popular design by a lot of the Godzilla community, but I dig it. I like it for what it is. You know, I mean, yeah, it's kind of ugly looking. He's fugly looking, ugly fugly, but you know, it's not one of the most appealing Godzilla suits that Toho created, but it was the second suit, so you know they wanted to do something a little bit different from the original because this was a different Godzilla. Okay, so this figure was released in May of 2011, along with boxed separately. It was released 2011 in May with the black and white Anguirus from the 25cm line. Okay, and that was Anguirus 55, black and white 25cm scale. Later down the road, X Plus reissued both of those figures, this figure and the Anguirus 55, together in a 25cm stylized box, but it was a Rick Boy only Wonderfest, I believe, color. They were in color. Remember, this is in black and white. Anguirus was in black and white too, so they released them together, boxed together, in color. I'm not really a big fan of the color versions of these two because Anguirus is like green, Godzilla, no, yeah, Anguirus is green, and Godzilla is, yeah, Godzilla, I forget, I haven't looked at them in a while, but I dig the black and white ones. So, May 2011, bam, okay, so that's that. Digging it, digging it, digging it. Alright, let's move on to the box, bam! The box. Box is pretty simple, generic 25cm box. We've all seen what the boxes look like, so of course, as always, the only difference is the label. These motorcycles, I tell you, they have no respect for me. Whatever. Bottom of the box has the black label that signifies this is the Godzilla 1955. Okay, everything else is the same. You know, on every 25cm box, you got the markings on the sides, the back, the top, whatever. You know. All right, so simple box. Enough about the box. Bam! Sculpt and detail. Alright, sculpt and detail. X Plus. We know this. You guys probably know what I'm going to say. Top-notch sculpt. Top-notch detail. As far as this figure goes, there is some things that we need to definitely point out about the detail and the sculpt. Sculpt is made to replicate the suit. Suit is very well replicated here. And the first thing I'm going to point out is the tail. Check that out. Check out that detail. Look at that. That is how the suit actually curled when Godzilla's tail was being, you know, dragged around and held by the string, you know, the wiring when the suit actor was moving around. So they recaptured, replicated that curling of the actual suit very well there. And if you look out around the tail right here at the tip, not the tip, just almost at the tip, you can tell this is probably where the string was, right here. Okay? That's probably where the string was, where it pulled up. So as it pulled up here, this drooped down because there was nothing supporting the tip of the tail. So that looks very good. I really like that. Very nicely done. The rest of the body, you know, it captures Godzilla's somewhat slimmer appearance. Okay? So that looks good. Arms look good, legs look good. The detail on the whole skin, much like what the 54 design was, you know, it's very tree bark, typical for a Godzilla suit, you know, which became a mainstay throughout the entire series. So you got your typical tree bark skin, so that looks very good. The arms positioned pretty much the same way. Actually, they look like they were a little bit higher. You know, this Godzilla, because he was a grappler. As we know in the movie, Godzilla grapples majorly with Anguirus, okay? So that looks good. Arms look good. Everything, the detail is great on this figure. I really, really like this figure. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the 55 suit, but it's done really well. This figure is done really well. The feet, big feet, you know, like clown shoes. You got your your basic. Actually, this was the last time until 1984's Godzilla, you know, Return of Godzilla, that Godzilla had 4 toes. Because once we went to 1962, they changed it to 3 toes. Okay? So check that out. So the sculpt and the detail is very nice. I love the dorsal plates. One thing I like about the dorsal plates on the 55 is that they're just so erratic and jagged looking. You know, in the same fashion as the 54, but just different, obviously, because it's a different Godzilla. So these look cool. I really like those. Digging them. The face is captured pretty damn good. You know, you got him looking up, looking down, whatever you want to. He's mostly looking straight forward, actually, based off the pose of the figure. So that looks good. Detail, sculpt, everything looks great. Arms look good. Head, ears, neck. Again, if you look at the neck, you know, no, that's just how the suit was designed. You got these little shrieks, little ruffles in the neck there, like he's turning, you know, just from extra skin. So that looks pretty good. So overall, the sculpt and detail, top notch. I really dig it. I really like that. Really cool. Okay, moving on. Paint job. Paint job. Paint job. What? It's black and white. Mostly, it's gray. I mean, it's painted gray. It's not straight up black. But basically, the whole figure is in gray. You got dark gray, and then you got your light gray. And that's really it. That's the accent. That's what sets apart the figure here. Is these grays on the dorsal plates and the dark gray for the skin. We got the light gray on the highlights on the tail, just to differentiate that. The eyes, teeth, nails, toenails, all that done in just like, you know, like a static gray. Like, you know, if you put the TV on the fuzz channel, that's what it looks like. So the paint job is pretty simple, but it looks good. I'm a really big fan of the black and white stuff, you know, just because this is what we saw the movie as. This is how we saw it, so it looks really neat. I like the paint job, black and white. Okay, even the tongue. If I can get in there, the tongue is the same color as the skin, dark gray. Okay, so the paint job is very, very simple. Not much to it, but they did a good job of, you know, highlighting the dorsal plates to make them look like they did in the movie. But, you know, this is how this very, very nicely done with the highlights and the shading on the dorsal plates. So that looks cool. I like that. So the paint job, that's pretty simple. Pretty simple. One thing, let's see, real quick. I have both the Wonderfest Godzilla 54 and the black and white Diamond 54, and I totally prefer the black and white G54. So black and white's cool. I really dig that they did that like that. So cool. So, and if you're interested in the color versions, you got to go for the Rick Boy Wonderfest box set for this that came in here. So those were in color. Okay? All right. So that's the paint job. Bam! Joints and seams. Okay. Joints. Let's see. All right. Obviously, we got one here. That's just where you put the tail on. So tail's nice and snug. Want to have a good seal on that right there. So the seam, it's pretty well hidden along this area where the dorsal plates meet up with the, you know, right behind the legs. So that looks good. Nicely done. Nicely done. Is there another one here? Yep, there's another. I don't know if that's just part of the suit, but if you look here, it looks like there's a seam wrapped around, but not too distracting. I didn't notice it until I just looked at it now. So not bad. Legs. Arms. Yep, there's some seams here, right on the elbows. So those are the seam, okay? And the head, no seams. Now, one thing I will point out that's very important, that's very good as far as the detail goes, but you do see a seam here. Starts at the top of the, just at the shoulder line, almost at the top of the head. Works its way all the way down. Actually, yeah, it's on both sides now that I'm looking at it. So it looks like the seam here along the side of the dorsal plates, both sides. I'm guessing that is, I have to watch the movie again, but I would imagine that is where dorsal plates came down and let Haruo Nakajima, suit actor, enter and exit the suit. So that is done really good. Nice reproduction of that scene there. Yeah, that has to be. You can see that. It looks really good. So from the top of the head, goes all the way down to where the tail meets. So that looks cool. Alright, so that is your joint and seams. No articulation, guys. X+. No, there's no articulation in X+. I'm going to be right back. You know what? These motorcycle guys. Ugh. Try to do a review here. Anyway, so no articulation. This is not how. This is not. This is SSH Monster Arts and NECO. Okay. All right. Bam. Size comparison. All right. Check it out. It's probably not one of the greatest size comparisons here, but what we're looking at, you know, all right. We've got the 55, 25 centimeter Godzilla right here. Over here we have 10 years later, 1965's Godzilla from Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. And over here, we have a 30 centimeter figure. Yes, this is 30 centimeter figure. Gyra from War of the Gargantuans. So, two 25s and a 30 centimeter. As you can see, that the 30 centimeter is not that much taller. Why? Well, he's got his legs, his knees are bent, and his one leg's forward, so he's not standing completely straight up. But they're not in scale at all. I mean, if Godzilla's 50 meters, how tall was Gyra? You know what? Crap, I think they were around 50, 60 meters too. But based off the pose and everything, different heights. You know, so, but you can tell that based off of Gyra's mass, his body mass, you know, he's much bigger than Godzilla. He could throw Godzilla around if they were in scale like that. So that'd be pretty interesting to see, huh? So 25s, you know, even that Godzilla is a little bit more mass, but these are you know, supposed to be in scale. It's 25 centimeter scale, and Gyra. So that's the size comparison. These fit good in scale together. These two don't. They're not in scale. All right. Okay, that's your size comparison. Bam. All right. Final thoughts. Final thoughts. So I got this figure actually not too long ago from the time of this recording, and this was the last figure I needed in the 25 centimeter lineup. So I have all the 25 centimeter figures, minus the standard Jet Jaguar and the color version of these guys, and actually the Rick Boy Godzilla 89 with the Violante vines going through his hands and shoulders. So I'm not really too antsy about getting those. Not a big deal. But I'm really happy to have this. I dig it. It's a great reproduction of the 55 suit. It's black and white, which is a plus for me because it totally captures that classic look, and based off of how we all seen this movie in black and white. So that's really cool. You know, it definitely sets itself apart from all the other figures in the 25 centimeter lineup. You know, and along with the black and white Godzilla Anguirus 55. Sorry. So that's it. Definitely certified fresh. Bam. Okay. And that's all I got. Make sure you check out FreshVinylHQ.com for more articles, more material from Fresh Vinyl. Okay. And remember, buy vinyl, fresh vinyl.